Hi, guys, and welcome back to True Crime After Dark. I hope you are having a wonderful evening. So, a little bit of a mix up. No Chris Watts tonight. We are going to listen to this video about Amy Bradley. I followed this case religiously when it first happened, and I hope sincerely that they find this woman. She was taken away from her family on a cruise ship, another cruise ship, horrible disaster. Just like a good friend of a lot of people I know, just went, Anna Kepner in my hometown, that just got murdered on a cruise ship. So cruise ships are kind of, I don't know now. But I haven't even watched this. I was just so excited to come on here and share it. So there's new evidence that may hopefully lead to bringing Amy home. So let's get into the video. Before we do, leave a like and subscribe to the channel. We have an awesome community and would love to have you. Okay.
Off of a cruise ship back in 1998, seemingly right out of her parents' cabin. The search for Amy has taken police and private investigators and her family all throughout the Caribbean as theories have been floated and dismissed almost every year. Some people said she must have fallen overboard just before the ship docked at Curacao. Others said she took off from a loving family who were on vacation all together. Still, others have suggested Amy may have been kidnapped and then secreted off of that ship.
Personally, I believe that she was smuggled off the ship in one of those carts. And I think that Yellow had a lot to do with it. Gosh, I wish that he would really come forward and help out with this case. But I don't even know if he would know where to find her right now. I really fear the worst, but I just hope for the best. But let's find out what they have to say.
Well, now, tonight, for the first time, a private investigator who's been working with Amy's family for years is revealing clues that suggest that Amy is indeed alive and may still be in the hands of dangerous traffickers who had help from the local police 27 years ago. He says something the Netflix documentary did not tell you was that a clerk at the Curacao Police Department said that he had seen Amy on the island several times. And get this, that he knew where she was. The clerk said he recognized Amy because of the Tasmanian devil tattoo on her shoulder, and that she was, quote, fine, but different. He said she didn't smile and appeared to be drugged. He then arranged for the sale of Amy back to her parents and Interpol for $50,000. All that was back in 1999, but when it came time to actually make the transfer, the clerk backed out. And just last year, the family's private investigator, hired by the family, tracked that clerk down. His name is Herman Goylo, and when questioned, clerk said that Amy was still alive, that he'd seen her in 2016, but that, quote, they have her hooked on drugs, and that she was, quote, with a very dangerous trafficker. Joining me now is that private investigator who's now speaking publicly about his recent findings. Jim Carey, along with his son, have been working pro bono with Amy's family for the last 4 years. Jim notably also worked on the Natalie Holloway case. Jim, thank you so much for being here this evening. This clerk
Thank you
with
for
the
having me,
Curacao, I am so bewildered by this report that the clerk with the Curacao Police Department was talking to you and the family and Interpol and prepared to make a deal before ghosting you. But now you've sort of reconnected with him. Is he cooperating now? Is he talking now?
You know, he's not. And when we went down there in November, he was tormenting the family back in 1999. He was having conversations with the Ivor and Ron and the whole family saying she was alive. And this went on for 28 years. So we finally tracked him down, and I went to his house, but he wasn't there. So we waited for him at a meet area, and we talked to him, myself, another investigator, Earl Nance, and my son, Brody. And we gave him the opportunity to tell us what he wants to tell us. And he said, she's alive. I seen her a couple of years ago. And I gave him, I said, look, Herman, I'll give you the tell me the truth. And I asked him 20 times. He says, she's alive. So he continues to say that.
So let me ask you, I mean, look, you're old hat at this. You worked on Natalie Holloway, which was one of the most vexing cases in my history of 38 years of doing crime reporting. What do you think was so convincing about Herman Goylo back in 1999 and then also again in 2024?
Well, I wasn't there in 99, but the convincing element I saw was reading back on those old reports and his conversations with the family. They haven't changed. A lot of them are really consistent. And I fact checked them and I checked with CIs, and some are truths and some are lies. He's that type of guy. He'll tell you a lie, but he'll tell you the truth. It's almost like a game with him. So I believe him. I mean, why would he want to be involved 28 years later? He's still implicated.
That's really what I think. Why would anybody want to embroil themselves in something so tragic? What would they get out of it? Although listen, in our line of business, there are all types out there. What about the FBI? How helpful have they been? How interested in this information have they been?
Like I said, I wasn't back there when it originated, but the FBI, they're a busy organization. I understand that. They don't have much communication with the family. I think they have a new agent who's going to be attached to it. But other than that, I don't know too much about them.
So I'll tell you, listen, I was transfixed by the Netflix series this summer, and when I learned that there's this whole other piece of the puzzle, the $50,000, offering to get Amy, the contract that Interpol put together to pay out the 50 and get Amy from this guy, Herman Goylo. I couldn't understand why the Netflix documentary didn't include that. Do you know why?
Let's be clear. This guy doesn't have Amy. He is doing it through a friend, So who knows? Who knows what he really knows? And he was threatened the first time not to let anything happen when he was talking to this guy the first time. But this guy has been with the family for a very long time. So we got to give him props for that. Let's continue.
I do not. But what happened was the family got the $50,000 from the PNC Bank. They had it in a check. He signed a contract. He actually signed it that he would tell the family where she is. He didn't want the check because he wanted cash, but we explained to him you can't bring cash on a plane, $50,000 to another island. So he broke into the Interpol agent's hotel room. He got in there and ransacked the room looking for the money. So the Interpol guys left the next day. So that's the type of guy we're dealing with.
Which could mean anything. Could be telling the truth, could be just a scammer extraordinaire. We've all seen them. Let me talk about the evidence on the ship. There's just so much information, it's hard sometimes to keep it all straight. But a witness saw a member of the house band. He went by the name Yellow because of the color of his hair. His name was Alistair Douglas. Amy had been dancing with him earlier in the evening with her brother Brad. They'd all come back home eventually, and everybody had gone to bed. Amy went out to through the sliding glass door to the ship balcony and was seen sleeping on the lawn chair by her dad, who woke up and peeked out at 5:30 in the morning. But at 6 a.m., the witness says that she sees this guy, Alistair Douglas, I think he was the bass player for the band, giving Amy a brown drink at about 6 o'clock in the morning. So take me from that moment and what your theory is happened after that moment.
Actually, there was 3 people that actually saw Amy and Douglas going up the glass elevator, which is crazy. 3 people actually saw her. 2 young girls and then an older girl. She happened to be sick, so she stayed in the disco during the day because she couldn't go out in the sun. So she saw him go up. She saw Douglas come back down and go to the bar and get a dark-colored drink, bring it back up to Amy, and turn the music up. She says he turned the music up really loud. 10 minutes later, Douglas comes down alone, and there's no sight of Amy. Nowhere to be found.
Do you think, well, tell me your theory about what you think would have happened next. If your theory is true and that if it's possible she was secreted off that ship, what do you think happened after the brown drink?
I think she was drugged, and I think there was another person up there waiting, and I actually thought he probably got on when they docked in Aruba the night before, and he stayed on the ship. They didn't check. I think they drugged her, put her in either a musical huge box or container, brought her down the service elevator, which is right there. It goes right down the ship and out the cargo area. When they pull into port, they get rid of all the clothing, they new towels, new food, they unload trash. I think she was in one of those, and they took her away.
And you think that Alistair Douglas was involved in this other than the drugging?
He was the last person seen with her. And
he was involved.
He's constantly lied about his whereabouts that night. So I'm about 100% sure he knows something. And he's not telling, even his daughter.
It was him.
Yeah, I've interviewed his daughter, and she, she wouldn't go so far as say that her father did something, but she had her suspicions. But is it true that a band member came to Alistair Douglas's home shortly after the voyage and said something along the lines of, Yellow did something bad?
Yeah, it is. He when Yellow got back and this guy got back, Desmond, he went up to the girlfriend and says, "Look, Yellow did something bad, very bad." And then he left. And then the girlfriend had a conversation with Yellow, and that's when they saw all the photos in a big bag of all happening Caucasian girls, and they saw Amy's picture with her brother Brad. And that's coming right from the person who saw it.
Let's talk about two other tourist sightings that you believe are quite credible. One is a Canadian tourist who was on a diving trip who says, I saw Amy Bradley on a beach in Curacao. I think he was actually diving with someone, and he believes it's Amy Bradley because she fits the description. I believe the tattoo may have come into play with that identification as well, and that the woman he saw was scared and with, I think, two other large guys and wasn't able to speak to them. Is that correct?
Yeah, it was about 6 months after she was taken. It was in August of '98. They were at Porto Marie. He's a diver from Canada, and he was with his friend. They were taking off doing their freshwater cleanup for their gear when the two males and supposedly the girl looked like Amy walked up. And they walked right. He walked right towards them. And remember, he didn't know about the missing girl at the time, but he thought it was odd. And he saw the tattoo. He saw a watch that no one would know because Amy's boyfriend had given it to her before they left. And then months later, he saw it on I think a People magazine, and he goes, "I saw that girl. I know that girl." And then he reported to the FBI.
Another one in. There's another one in Barbados in 2005 as well. I want to ask you about something very important. Netflix released information I think you're upset about, the fact that the family has a website, and it's a website where you all have been tracking who comes in, what addresses come in, and that there's been a curious address in the Barbados, a place where she's been spotted, that comes in every Christmas and Thanksgiving. And you're worried that because that information was put out there by Netflix, you may not be able to track that anymore. And we're coming up on Thanksgiving. Are you hopeful that you'll get a ping this Thanksgiving and Christmas?
Well, I will say that it wasn't Netflix's fault. We put it out there. We probably shouldn't have put it out there, but we did. The old IP hits we get, those are the ones we are really looking at, closer to middle 2000s, and we're working on that, and we're working on getting exact areas. So,
man, that would be so awesome if this Thanksgiving. I mean, I know it's past now, but they haven't updated us yet on whether they did get something from that IP address. That's crazy. That same IP address for every Thanksgiving and every Christmas has been sending some kind of message. So I just, if it's Amy herself, I don't see how she could be so out there that she doesn't want to come home.
we're okay with that, I think.
Well, listen, Jim Carrey, stay close to us on this. And I sure hope that you're able to get some traction on this man, because others, a taxi driver in Curacao who seemingly was involved has now since died and taken his secrets, if he has them, to the grave. So let's hope that doesn't happen with this former clerk. Thank you for being on here tonight. Really appreciate it.
Thank you for having me, Ashley.
Authorities have checked out multiple reported sightings, but none were ever confirmed. And in 2010, Amy Bradley was officially declared dead. But that hasn't stopped her family from looking for answers. In fact, earlier today, I spoke with Brad Bradley. This is the missing woman's brother, long ago cruise companion. Here's what he had to say.